Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering the woke boycotts. Everyone hates Bud Light. Customers everywhere feel betrayed. Even gay bars are refusing to stock Bud Light. That's not every gay bar, but that's the famous gay bar, the Saloon in Minneapolis. They are not satisfied with Bud Light. I don't really know who likes Bud Light, but somebody out there is still buying Bud Light. If you could please stop buying Bud Light, it might teach the company a lesson. If you like it, buy it. The rest of us are not going anywhere near that brand ever again. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. I'm trying to get the channel up to 25,000 subscribers, so if you can subscribe, please do subscribe. Bud Light customers feel slapped in the face. That is what John Taffer of Bar Rescue recently said in an interview on Fox Business. Coming from Daily Wire, quote, "Brand slapped them in the face," Bar Rescue host on the Bud Light boycott. Taffer said the boycott of Bud Light over its partnership with trans activist Dylan Mulvaney, noting that customers felt the brand had slapped them in the face. During the Paramount host's appearance Monday on Fox Business, host Stuart Varney said he's surprised that the boycott against the beer brand has lasted so long, while Taffer said he wasn't surprised at all. Quote, "Beer brands and people's connection to their beer is an identifier of your personality. It's a personal thing, almost emotional. People connect with these brands very heavily, and in their view, the brand slapped them in the face. Quote, it's almost like a spouse disappointing you in some way. It's emotional. Stores have reduced shelf space for the brand. Distributors have reduced warehouse space. They've reduced order numbers. Quote, this isn't disappearing anytime soon," Taffer continued, noting all the distribution mechanisms around Bud Light have all been reduced to adjust to current levels. It's forever. And he's absolutely right. And it's great to see people who are industry experts and who also understand business and distribution so much talk about how the back end is so important. For example, it's like a restaurant with 100 seats in it. You're not going to seat 300 people. If for some reason that restaurant was to shrink down to 50 seats, you're not going to seat more than 50 people. The capacity for Bud Light to even service the numbers they used to sell is shrinking dramatically because distributors can't hold the inventory when it's not selling. Stores can't put it on the shelves when it's not selling. Bars can't stock it when it's not selling. It just gets in the way as if it was expired or poisoned. It's not something that you can clog up the whole distribution system with anymore. It really has to go. Taffer, who's best known for his TV show Rescuing Struggling Bars, was asked his advice on how Anheuser-Busch could possibly rescue itself from the boycott and falling market share. Quote, "I think that they need to get back to being a great American brand," the TV host said. "And I think they need to stand for American values, which is what they did all these years." Taffer said at the end of Prohibition, it was Budweiser's famed Clydesdale horses that delivered the first keg to the White House and said that he thinks they need to go back to those kinds of roots. On Thursday of last week, Anheuser-Busch did a Public Securities and Exchange Commission filing. In that filing, their last on their list of 3 priorities was to make a comment on behalf of their concern for customers of Bud Light. They said they hear their customer and they're listening, but there was no apology. Still no apology. Quote, "Our summer advertising launches next week, and you can look forward to Bud Light reinforcing what you've always loved about our brand, that it's easy to drink and easy to enjoy," which is a strange statement for him to make because that's actually a relatively new advertising slogan for them. No, it's not always been easy to drink, easy to enjoy, and now it's impossible to drink and impossible to enjoy without people having to wonder about you. If you're a woman, perhaps you were born a man. If you're a man, perhaps you were born a woman, or perhaps that is what you're into. It is not the kind of connotation that people were looking for in any kind of mainstream consumer product. That is something they did by rebranding the brand with Dylan Mulvaney, and it doesn't seem to be helping sales at all. Interestingly, this Minneapolis gay bar has decided they do not want to support Anheuser-Busch products whatsoever. What's so interesting about this? Well, this must be the most famous gay bar in the world. I don't have a list of them, but this must be a really famous one because this was all over media. There were article after article after article published, and I saw a number of them. One of the first ones I saw was not this Daily Mail article. Daily Mail isn't usually first, but a lot of times their summaries are really excellent, really well done, so I like those for videos. But this one had a quote in it that was a very unusual quote. At least for me, it was unusual because I never thought of beer this way. But these people do, and I didn't see the quote picked up in any of the other publications. From CBS News Minnesota, so a local station there, the Saloon, the name of the famous gay bar, to stop serving Anheuser-Busch beers after brewer walks back Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light campaign. Now this is June 19th. They walked the campaign back, like 2 months ago or something? It was quite a while ago. I don't know why these guys are so upset right now, but they are. But here's the quote, and then we'll do the Daily Mail article that I found really strange. I still don't quite exactly know what they mean. Here's what they said. Quote, Anheuser-Busch had an opportunity to support a marginalized community in a way that few other corporations have attempted, but they abandoned that direction. We view that as unacceptable. Saloon owner John Moore said. The Saloon statement said it is dropping Anheuser-Busch in favor of, quote, local companies that actively support and grow the LGBT community. How is a beer company supposed to grow the LGBT community? If you have this beer, is it going to help you grow the community if you promote Dylan Mulvaney or other transgender people? I'd like to ask John Moore, the owner of the Saloon, how that's supposed to grow the community, like actually make it larger. What was Anheuser-Busch trying to do with utilizing Dylan Mulvaney as a promotional tool in the first place? Were they actually trying to grow the LGBT community? Is that what utilizing LGBT promotions in Pride Month is supposed to be doing? Maybe it's just a strange turn of phrase and he didn't really mean support and grow the community, but maybe he did mean that. If you know what he's talking about, let me know in the comments below because he's got me completely mystified. The purpose of marketing is to sell product, not to grow and glorify any kind of lifestyle or community. Not that I'm aware of. From the Daily Mail, Minneapolis gay bar cans Anheuser-Busch products from its beer line ahead of Pride after criticizing the brand for how it handled backlash over Bud Light's partnership with Dylan Mulvaney. Beers such as Michelob Golden Light and Michelob Ultra will be replaced at the Minnesota bar with local brands like Modest Brewing Company and Bajas Brew Labs. Quote, we will continue to pursue avenues to keep our money local and community-based while we remain one of the best parties in Minneapolis and a place where our queer community can come together to celebrate our existence, said the Saloon's general manager, Robbie Palmer. The Saloon issued its decision before hosting several block parties celebrating Pride over the weekend. After Anheuser-Busch tried to distance itself from the Mulvaney promotion, Bud Light also faced backlash from the opposite direction, with pro-LGBT groups accusing the company of abandoning the transgender influencer. Several gay bars in Chicago have also decided to drop all Anheuser-Busch products, arguing the company has turned its back on the LGBT community. Excuse me while I scroll up and get rid of Dylan Mulvaney's face. The company has since lost billions of dollars in market capitalization and continues to be boycotted by tens of millions of former consumers. So if you're not going to grow the LGBT community, they're not going to support you at the Saloon. Adweek did this article and it is really emblematic and shows you an example of how delusional some of these publications are and what their expectations are in terms of supporting their community. All you would ask for as a regular customer of Bud Light is just put the beer in the can. Don't have weird promotions. Just promote it with fun. You can tie it to sports. You can tie it to music. You can pick any kind of mainstream music that you want. Even if it's off music, it doesn't have to be mainstream. That's fine. People will still keep buying the product and giving you billions in sales. But this is what they want from Adweek. Bud Light's response to Dylan Mulvaney backlash displays dangers of shallow advocacy. The brand worked to isolate the trans creator from its core demographic while benefiting from Dylan's reach. So the brand hired Dylan Mulvaney, obviously paid a fee to promote their product, didn't like the response they got, so they downplayed their relationship with Dylan Mulvaney, and that, according to Adweek, an important industry publication in advertising, was a bad move, supposedly. Just shallow advocacy. What were they supposed to do with their company? Let's find out from the author. On April 14th, Bud Light responded to the uproar around its partnership with trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney with a declaration of patriotism, the expression of its responsibility to America, which did not address the slew of consumers who responded to the collaboration with resistance. Left some audiences questioning why Bud Light recruited Mulvaney if it was not prepared to protect Mulvaney, because it wasn't out to adopt Mulvaney like a child. Anheuser-Busch was not the parent of Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan Mulvaney decided to do whatever Dylan wanted to do on their own, not because they were convinced by Anheuser-Busch to go ahead and do this transition. Quote, if brands don't take that responsibility on, then this begs the question of what are the brand's true intentions when launching the campaign, said Meg Emiko Lee, they, them. Now, why would you need someone's pronouns next to their name? They aren't going to use the pronouns in the context of the article. You can have whatever pronouns you want, that's fine. Is it necessary to put it in the article if you're not going to refer to pronouns? A creator and artist who has worked with brands including PixArt and Fenty. Quote, if it's solely to cause a stir, publicity, or anything aside from taking actual action to fight for trans folks and trans rights, then they are participating in performative activism that will not create the waves of change that the trans community needs. I thought they were just trying to promote their product and sell more beer, not take on actions to fight for trans folk and trans rights. Is that what they were doing at Bud Light? Do they know if that's what they were doing? What are they actually doing when they're supporting this beer? Are they trying to, like the owner of the saloon says, actively supporting and also growing the LGBT community? Are they supposed to be fighting for trans rights? Marketing was never like this before this progressive revolution. Company is not supposed to be advocating for rights or fighting for rights. They're supposed to be selling product because that is good for the consumers and it's good for the company. And this is interesting. From dailymail.com, an exclusive poll revealing that 6 in 10 US voters think promoting transgender ideology has gone too far, including most Gen Z and millennial Americans. And supposedly Gen Zs and millennials are really aggressively interested in promoting the LGBT agenda. U.S. voters by wide margins say transgender ideology is being promoted too aggressively, including most Gen Z and millennial Americans, an exclusive Daily Mail poll shows. Daily Mail JL Partners survey of 1,000 adults also found respondents were split over whether businesses like Target should display LGBT-themed products for Pride Month prominently in their stores. The results suggest that Americans are relatively open to non-traditional lifestyles, but are increasingly concerned by the growing prominence of trans ideas in the nation's cultural life. In their survey, 59% of voters said the promotion of trans ideology had gone too far in America, while 16% said it had not gone far enough. I don't know what that 16% wants, but I don't want that. Let me know if you want that in the comments below. This included majorities in every age group, but interestingly also 51% of adults aged 18 to 29, a cohort that is often seen as more supportive of new wave gender ideas. So it's not just you, it's not just me. Generally, people think this is really going too far. And even if you get quotes from Ad Age, you get quotes from the owner of the saloon gay bar, and they say, hey, we are looking to promote this agenda. We are looking to make this more common in American life. We are looking to grow the LGBT community. Growing these communities is not appropriate for mainstream consumer products. It's not even appropriate for niche products. Promoting the product for the benefit for the consumers is what the product should be all about. It's a good thing that we're seeing more people talk about it openly and saying, hey, you're not letting us push our agenda. You're not letting us grow the LGBT community the way we want to with your mass consumer brand. You're paying for it yourself. Don't you want to help us grow this community and push our agenda? The answer is no. No, we don't want to help you do that. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Were you aware that these marginalized communities and whatnot were saying, hey, you're interfering with us growing our community. Stop doing that. We need to hijack mainstream brands and they need to promote trans action and trans rights. Don't you think that's going a little too far? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Really appreciate you guys. please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.